What's up, Orlandoods? It's Mark here from Tiny 4x4, and today we're doing an unboxing of the all new Orlandoo Hunter OH32X02 kit. This is a 4x2 trophy truck, 1/32 scale radio control. This is a free sample Orlandoo Hunter have sent us, gratefully received. Super excited to get inside this and show you what we've got. So it's a standard Orlandoo box, same size as most of the other kits, nicely presented, and on the back here we've got some details. Let's see if we can see these. So you can see you've got an option when you order for a blue, red or transparent body, and you're going to need your radio gear and your electrics. All you get inside the box is a rolling truck, and it's a builder's kit, so it's not a complete vehicle, you've got to build it up yourself. And we've got 168mm length, 79mm width, not sure if you can see these, 59mm height, 67mm track width and 104mm wheelbase. So 4x2 is a new thing for Orlandoo. All our other vehicles have been all-wheel drive, bar the Caravan, which we'll skip quickly past. And that means we've got a lot of new components happening here, which is really nice to see. So double wishbone, independent front suspension, double shocks on each corner. Some of you might have seen the short teaser video from Orlandoo where it gets dropped on the deck, and this seems to provide really nice damping. The rear end is 4-link solid axle, but really nice long travel trailing arms with the shocks buried into that bottom trailing arm, and front and rear anti-roll bars. So there's a lot of new running gear here. The rear axle is 60mm width, so it's the same as the PO2 kit, the Tundra, but in a different casing. Same internals, but a new axle casing there. And then on top of that you've got this really nice looking cage, same polycarbonate construction as the X01, the rock bouncer that they've produced, and metal matched panels to go in here, so you can run this just as a cage buggy if you don't want the body on. 2 spare wheels and a fuel canister in the middle there, a sand ladder, fire extinguishers, there's twin fan radiator in the back there, and a dashboard on the inside. So lots of nice little scale details happening, as well as your basic truck. Body is polycarbonate on this truck, which again is something different for Orlandoo. All their previous kits have been hard bodied. Would have been kind of nice to see a hard body on this, just for that extra bit of detail, but then the likelihood is that most people are going to be using this to bash around, so a Lexan body is perhaps better suited for that sort of usage. So let's get inside. It's normally sealed, this box, in cellophane, and the sticker there. It came to me with a broken seal. That wasn't my doing, I promise you. And inside we've got a bag with the body in it. Looks like the cage is inside the body there. Yeah, I can just see the cage peeping out there. I've got the blue body here, that's good. And then B bag, looks like it's all detail parts. C bag, shocks. So you've got 8 shocks to put together on this one. You've got 4 internal sprung shocks which provide the damping, and then 4 coilovers, one on each corner. There are already upgrade metal threaded shocks available. We'll have those in stock very soon in the shop, and they're much longer travel than anything you've seen before on an Orlandoo kit. I can see some wishbones in this bag as well. That's nice. And another nice feature here, you've got your normal open-ended ball head screws for the suspension components, but as well as that you've got these sort of captured balls. The screw can pass straight through those. It's open at each end, and they're what are going to sit inside those long trailing arms at the back. Hopefully these are going to be available as a separate component. They're really useful for custom builds. Having this option should provide some interesting options for builders. That's really nice. Wheels and tyres. So here we've got 6 tyres. They're new tread pattern, 18mm wheels, the same as the X01, same as the Duroc, and nice to have another option of tyre. Feel fairly squishy. We'll get into those in a bit. Looks like you get 4 foams and then the 2 spares, 6 wheels, 6 tyres. So it's an 18mm wheel, probably 34mm tyre. We'll have a look at that in a bit. And then in here I can also see some bits. Looks like you get a couple of elasticated straps to hold those spares in. That's great. And possibly some stub axles, something like that. Okay, usual bag of tools and hardware, all labelled up. Usual Orlandoo practice, and then the axle bag. So you can see that new axle case in there, kind of competition style axle internals, and drive shaft, and it looks like the floor inside the cage there. So that's good. Stickers. Everyone loves stickers. So got some numbers there. We've got a 1/32 logo, and then some nice OH-Model Orlandoo Hunter stickers. It's nice to see these available small. It's the first time they've done that, I think. You get these larger stickers in most of the kits. Good for your transmitter or something like that, but nice to have something that's vehicle sized. 3 different headlight colourings, presumably one for each body type. Rear lights, and then grille detail. It looks like you get 2 options for the grille. That's good. And then also in this bag we've got the etched metal detail parts. So these panels are going to go on in between the cage tubes. This looks like it sits in between the front suspension wishbones and forms a front skid. And then you can see some etched metal detail for the fan, the radiator and fans. So that's really nice. I'm not sure what these extra bits are in there. We'll find out. So nice. And then of course you've got your assembly manual. All the Orlandoos come really well documented, and this is no exception. Nice clear images and step-by-step instructions. The English isn't always perfect, but we can forgive them that. So you get a full list of all the parts that you should have in the box, and then a guide to the assembly. So each time it tells you what part numbers you need at the side, and that corresponds to the labels on the parts bags. Fit in the shocks, put the motor together, that goes in, back axle, rear shocks, rear suspension, drive shaft, detail parts, wheels, body. Done. So I've got an enjoyable few hours ahead of me there, can't wait for that. I'll clear the decks and we'll crack into some of these bags. Okay, magic of television. I wish my desk was this clear always. So we'll start with the body. I've got a blue one. Orlandoo were nice enough to also send a red one and a transparent one in with the sample, so I've got the choice there, that's great. We'll get into this bag and have a look at this cage. So there's the body first of all. It's Lexan, which is unusual for Orlandoo. Not sure if I've already said that, but it does mean it's going to be nice and durable for bashing, probably pretty cheap to replace as well. It comes with an overspray film over it, and you can see underneath there, once you peel that back, it looks that little bit crisper and shinier. That's why you've got all these tatty bits around the windows, that's just the overspray film. It's nice that it's pre-cut, it's nicely finished. I really quite like the graphics on there as well, it's going to look great. I think I actually prefer the blue one, but the red one's nice too. Orange at the back there, that's really quite something. And then we've got the clear one, so you can paint it however you like. I'm sure most of our regular customers are going to want the clear one. Personally, I hate painting. You're going to need Lexan paint for these really to get the flexibility. You can use normal acrylics, but there's a chance it'll start flaking after some use. The other option you've got with a Lexan body, if you don't like that kind of high gloss finish and the fact that the stickers seem to float slightly once you've applied them over the colour, you can, if you've got a transparent body, spray it silver on the inside, pull off the overspray film, probably going to need to mask it up, but then put the colour of your choice on the outside, which means it will get scratched up, and it means you're going to need to use normal acrylic paint if you want anything other than a really flat finish, because Lexan paint's intended to go on the inside and so it's flat. But if you use acrylic paint on the outside, it will last pretty well, and eventually it'll start scratching off and you'll get a metal effect coming through from the silver that you've put on the inside. So that's quite a common thing to do with Lexan bodies. Choice is yours. So that's the body. Let's get into the frame here. This is really nice, really nice. Looks like they've inserted the pivot arms, presumably to keep it rigid in transport. We're going to have to pull those out to insert the wishbones. It's nice to see that they're metal, and actually it's pretty solid, this cage. There's not any twist in it really at all, so that means that suspension's going to work really nicely. There's just enough give in it to be impact resistant. Really thin tubing, but there's a lot of cross bracing going on, so it should be pretty strong. It's the same material as the X01, but slightly different finish, I think. I'll just put my one down for comparison. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but the X01 seems to have a slightly more gloss finish to it, but it does feel just as hard. So there you go, that's a really nice looking thing. It's quite big compared to the X01 as well. It's not quite as long as the Tundra, but not far short. So it should be nice and stable going fast. They recommend a 3000 RPM N30 motor for these, so it'll have plenty of torque and enough speed to be fun. So there we go, that's those. I'll put those away. And then we've got the D-bag. This is that floor piece that the motor bolts to. Drive shafts. Looks like you get a spare drive shaft. Might come in useful, particularly if you're going to go brushless with this. And that's those lower wishbones on the back. They're really nice. Nice little bit of detail on the side. You're going to have to cut the extra bits off, the injection moulding parts there. And also in this bag we have the axle internals and some bearings. So your usual brass ring and pinion, C-clips to and a pin to hold them on. Got a spare in there as well. And then the axle ends and an adapter for the geared motor so that the drive shaft can bolt straight up to the motor. And then the axle casing, so you can see that nice competition style axle there. Standard ends for the axles, I think, and a little bridge for the top link. So that's nice. Clear those away. So this is the B bag. Just get into this. So we've got that gigantic jerry can. Not sure I could carry that if I was 1/32 scale. It's a beast. Looks like fire extinguisher body parts. Oh, and a couple of little red fans to go in that radiator. That's going to be really nice, that radiator. Always good to have a cup holder in a trophy truck. Not sure what they're doing there, but it's nice to have a transmission tunnel detail, steering wheel, dashboard there. That looks really good. That does look really nice. And then the core of the radiator, with those fans to go into. I think there's some etched parts to go over the top. And not sure what those bits are. Tops for the fire extinguishers, a servo horn, so it looks like slightly different steering setup to normal, and a front bumper, I imagine. So that's the B bag. This is the C bag, which is suspension parts. Ooh. So those anti-roll bars come ready assembled apparently. Not sure if we're going to have to glue those or not. Rod ends, more rod ends, standard Orlandoo, and shocks. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you've got all the parts for your 8 shocks there. One internal sprung and one coilover on each corner. Much longer travel than anything they've produced before. We have got metal threaded body shocks available as an aftermarket part already. We'll have those in the shop soon. These are your front wishbones. That's really nice. The shocks get buried into the bottom wishbone as well, so it's going to be really nice, clean underside on this. and then your steering hubs there. Some little rod links for the steering and the top links at the back. Shock pistons and springs. Front stub axles. I think they're the same as the ones in the caravan that we're not mentioning. And then ball studs, bearings, and these open-ended ball studs. Not open-ended, but pass-through, captured balls, whatever you want to call them. They can be really useful. And then the e-bag. Let's have a look at these wheels and tyres. Try not to cut myself to pieces. Tyre foams. Quite, not sure about this truck, but more often than not, the foams I don't think are really needed in Orlandoo tyres. It might be slightly different for this because it's going to be travelling at speed and doesn't really need to crawl. You've got these elasticated straps for the spare wheels, and they're also available as accessory parts. We already sell these. I think they're the 9cm version. And then I don't know what they are. Intriguing, and some rubber grommet-y things. That's new. Here are the wheels. Let's try and open the end. So, nice little bit of detail there. If you can see that. So they're 8-spoke, and they've got little beadlock, fake beadlock detail around the edge. Fairly standard bead for Orlandoo tyres. Very, very limited bead on Orlandoo tyres. And then the tyres themselves. See if I can get in here. Yeah, they're not bad. Pretty soft. Not super sticky, but they're soft. Let's see what we've got on here. Yeah, 33mm. It's nearest, damn it. So same size as the Gecko tyres I've got on here, and the same size as the standard X01 tyres as well. Great stuff. There you have it. The Orlandoo Hunter OH32 X02 4x2 trophy truck. Thanks Orlandoo Hunter for sending this free sample. I can't wait to get stuck into this. I know what's lined up for my weekend, and thanks to everybody who's made a pre-order already. I know you're going to be excited to get stuck into these, so we'll be turning these around as quickly as we can as soon as stock arrives. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you again soon.